And look at what people are wearing as well. Like, people back in the day didn't care about the fashion because there was no social media. In today's video, we're going to talk about Coachella 2009 and my experience going to Coachella 2009 and how it was Coachella then versus Coachella now. And the reason I'm making this video is because I just made a video called My First Time Tag Festival Edition, where I was recapping my first festival, my first show, and I talked about when I went to Coachella 2009, the reason I went to Coachella 2009, and I was able to find photos and a little small video clip that I actually took at Coachella 2009, so it just blew my mind because I was able to find this, and I just thought it was a good time to start my story time. I did this on Instagram last year leading up to Coachella. I was making posts on like my experiences throughout each day, but I never really made a YouTube video about it, so this is going to be the beginning of a series called Storytime, Coachella Edition, I guess. And I'm going to be doing Storytime for 2009, 10, 11, 12, all the way to Coachella 2019. If you're new to this channel, my name's Angel. I'm a festival content creator specifically about Coachella. I have over 80 videos on this channel all about Coachella, so you guys could dive into how to save money at Coachella, how to have a good time, the items that you need for Coachella. I have a video for everything. I have a playlist, Coachella 2020, where you guys can get the latest tips. So let's get started with Coachella 2009. If you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know already how I went to Coachella 2009 for free and how I was able to get the ticket. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, well, I'm going to do a little summary. So Coachella 2009, it was when I was a sophomore in high school. I was 16 years old at the time. And I used to go all the time after school because I used to play football, or my parents couldn't pick me up till like 5, 6 o'clock after work. So I had to stay near the high school after work. So I would go to the local Indio Rec Center. I would go to the Indio Teen Center, which had just opened. Now the Indio Teen Center, it was an opportunity for people to go play basketball, to go hang out. They had a recording studio for people that wanted to make music. They had a video game lounge where they had a Nintendo Wii. They had a PS3 at the time. So I used to go there on the regular basis. And then one Friday, me and my friend just went to the teen center randomly. And then one of the ladies that used to work there, she's like, "Hey, do you guys want to go to Coachella?" And I was like, go to Coachella? Like, I've heard of Coachella before because of course you hear about Coachella, but I always had this negative stigma, like it's a really bad place. There's drugs, and I was 16. I never had experienced any drugs or nothing. Not that I've done that already. Yeah, I had never experienced anything. I didn't drink or smoke or anything when I was 16. So I was like, I don't know, it's a little scary to go to Coachella. There's drugs, there's people walking around naked, there's people doing drugs, and I don't know what's going on. But it was a free opportunity to go to Coachella, so I didn't even know who was on the Coachella lineup at that time. So the guy had like a little flyer that showed us like who was the headliners. So I believe the headliners for Coachella 2009, Paul McCartney on Friday, The Cure, and The Killers, I believe. I think those were the 3 headliners. I might be mistaken, but I'll put up the Coachella lineup right here where you guys can check who was on the lineup. So the reason, the lady at the teen center, she said we could only pick one day because they couldn't give out. Back in the day, actually, a quick fact about Coachella, before 2011, you could actually buy single day passes. So if you just wanted to go on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, only one day, that's fine. You could just buy a day pass. That would be dope this year, like, but since Coachella 2011, they decided to make it a 3-day pass mandatory. So if you wanted to go to the festival in general, you needed to buy a 3-day pass. And the reason they did this was because they wanted to make sure that the festival sold out, or usually Sunday was always the most packed day. So they wanted people to actually buy the 3 days, and especially for camping as well. Like if you want to travel all the way to Coachella, might as well stay for the 3 days, and it's definitely worth it going to 3 days in my personal opinion. So we were sitting there and he's like, "Oh, you gotta pick one day." So I was looking at the lineup. I knew some of these rock bands that were in it, The Killers, The Cure. I saw Paul McCartney, a legend. But the reason that I picked to go on Friday, because I ended up choosing Friday after all. So I went on Friday and I chose to go because of a Mexican band called Molotov, which I talked about in my previous video. Now Molotov is, I don't know how to describe their type of music, but it's a Mexican rock band, and they have a lot of great songs. They have a song that pretty much blew up here in the early 2000s called Frijolero. You've probably heard it or seen the music video. A lot of their videos and songs are about politics. I used to love that band, so that's the reason I chose to go, just because over Paul McCartney. And I know Paul McCartney's a legend. To be honest, I never cared about the Beatles. Like, I like a couple of the Beatles songs, but I was never into the Beatles. So I chose Friday. and my friend, because they only give you one ticket, so I wasn't gonna go by myself. Like, there's no way. I was already scared in the beginning to go alone when I was 16, so my friend got a ticket for me for Friday. So he gave me the ticket. Shout out to Square. I used to call him Square. That was the homie. I actually haven't seen him in a minute, but I had to tell my sister, it's like, hey, I got the free Coachella ticket because I'm not gonna go by myself. So my sister Gabby, she's like, yeah, let's go to Coachella. So we ended up going to Coachella, and the outfit that I wore that day, as I previously mentioned in my previous video, I just had a Tool t-shirt, just a plain black t-shirt, plain gym shorts, they're black, and then like I think I was wearing some black Converse. So I have a photo that I found. I couldn't put it in the last video because I didn't even know I had these photos. So here's a picture of me just sitting in the Coachella grounds. And what's cool about Coachella, I'm gonna show you some more pictures from Coachella 2009. Look how empty it is, and look how vintage, not vintage, but it just brings me back to those times because it wasn't as packed as it is today. Like over the 2016, 17, and 18, Coachella expanded and just allowed way more people. So they bought more land in the Polo area where they have the festival, which every time they kept buying land, it would bring in another 20,000 people, another 15,000 people. So right now, the average Coachella now has over 125,000 people over the 3-day weekend. That's 125,000. Back in the day, it was closer to 80 to 100. So right now there's an extra 25,000. That's as many people that fit the Dignity Health Sports Park where the Chargers played, or previously known as the StubHub Center. Imagine that much extra people going to Coachella every single year. So right now it's super packed. Like right now, if you're trying to go from the Sahara stage all the way to the main stage, it's a long walk. There's a ton of people, so much more stuff going on. But back in the day, it was simple. When you had the 3 stages, you had the Sahara, the Gobi, the Mojave stage all in a row next to each other. Then you had the outdoor theater, which was the second biggest stage, and then you had the main Coachella stage. But now the festival got so big that the size of the outdoor theater was the size of the old Coachella stage. So now it's just even more massive. The Sahara tent had to be moved because so many people wanted to go to the Sahara tent to rave. That one became its own giant stage, and they also added new stages now, like the Sonora stage, which got added recently to cater to more smaller acts and to some of the locals that get to play in that stage. So definitely Coachella has gotten bigger. So 2009, look at these photos and look at what people are wearing as well. Like people back in the day didn't care about the fashion because there was no social media. 2009, there was no social media. Yeah, this was Facebook, but people really weren't using Facebook as much as they do now, or any social media back then. Facebook back then, it was cooler. You actually got to interact. There wasn't people creating content or taking cool photos or just going to places for the picture, which you see a lot today. And I don't have a problem with it because people are grinding out there trying to get that bag. I don't have a problem with that because people are trying to get that bag. Back in the day, look what people are wearing. People are wearing jeans. People are wearing just casual shirts. People are just having a good time. It was more definitely an indie festival. Definitely more rock, a lot of rock bands, a lot of bands in general. You hardly saw any hip-hop act. There was some EDM, but it wasn't as big as it is now. So now if you go to Coachella today, it's super pop culture. Like everyone's wearing super glamorous outfits, and they plan these outfits months in advance, and it's a fashion show. You know, YouTubers and Instagram models and celebrities are all trying to take the best photos, come up with the best vlogs and all that stuff. Back in the day, it was just about the music, having a good time at a desert festival, which was dope. And that was my first experience when I was 16 years old. And ever since that day, I just fell in love with the festival. And that was the beginning. Like if I didn't get that free ticket in 2009 from the Indio Teen Center, I probably would have never been to Coachella. I wouldn't be making Coachella content today. The amazing experiences that I've had over the years. I do want to say, if you're 16 years old and you think you want to go to the festival, or you plan on taking somebody like your little brother, your little cousin, your sister, whatever, they allow anybody of any age to be at the festival. Like I see parents take their like 1-year-old kids to Coachella. They even get them those like big like soundproof headphones and all that. But I wouldn't recommend taking your little kids there because you would have to be like carrying them and taking care of them, and like all the entire festival is just so hot. If you have somebody that's like 15 years old, 16 years old, like they're not little kids anymore, but you're gonna watch over them, they could have a good time, especially with these pop artists. Like last year Ariana Grande played. I know she has a lot of like young fans. Then you had Blackpink, who has a lot of young fans as well. So yeah, those are the options for people if you want to take somebody. They do have to go with the guardian, and yeah, especially take care of them because you don't want to lose them when there's 100,000 people. But you could take your kids or your cousins or whatever to Coachella. So Coachella is like a very inclusive festival. anybody, any genre that you like, you're gonna be having a good time. So anyway, that's my Coachella 2009 story time. I can't believe I found these photos, and let me know if you guys want to see more of these story times. Just kind of going over Coachella. I guess I didn't really talk about the festival, but I just wanted to go and talk about these photos, which is gonna start a new series going story time from every single year that I went, telling you guys how it went on my personal experience. And if you guys went to Coachella 2009, or what was the first year you guys went to the festival, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want to see more Coachella content, click on one of these videos right here. As always, see you at Coachella.